Coming to paperback and e-readers, Spinsterella Goth Girl Summer. Take a trip into the macabre world of goth modeling in the new millennium in this all-new Spinsterella story. Pre-order your copy of Spinsterella Goth Girl Summer at Amazon.com and other online booksellers everywhere. One of the challenges of writing black goth fiction is trying to find a way to incorporate the music into the story. Now, as a writer of black goth fiction, one of the things that I try to do with every Spinsterella book is try to find a way to incorporate goth music into the story as a character or as a theme for the overall book. Because, as I see it, the music is the foundation for the subculture, and sadly, too many people don't understand this, and they think that everything is more about the visuals, such as the fashion or the makeup or things like the art, and they forget all about the foundation of the goth subculture, which is the music. Now, the music is what makes people want to express themselves with their fashion, with their makeup, and with their art. And I want to go out here when I'm writing a Spinsterella book and make sure that the music is the core foundation for all of the stories that I'm writing in the Spinsterella series, because the music is the reason for everything that we have in the overall subculture as it's expanded over the last 40 years. Now, when I'm putting my fingers to the keyboard for a Spinsterella story, usually I see everything in my head like a movie in my mind, and as I'm seeing everything in my head like a movie in my mind, I oftentimes look to try to find a way to incorporate the music into the story and make the music into either a theme for the book or use it as a background character to tell a story. Now, from my experience as a screenwriter, I have learned that when you're out here writing a script, usually there are ways to incorporate inanimate objects such as a city or things like music as a character and make it like a character that basically is in the background. And as we're following the lead character in the story, we're seeing how this background character of a city or a sound is influential in that overall process of this character transformation arc. And as we get to see this person grow, we start to see how icons or landmarks in the city are a part of that story, or we see how certain songs are resonating as related to this character's growth. I mean, a city or or music can be a background character that can enhance a story, and that's something I try to do with Spinsterella books as related to goth music. Now, and when I started doing these books in 2015 with the first Spinsterella, I tried to incorporate the music and in the beginning, and I really didn't have a good sense of it at that time. But as I started to get into Matilda's story with Spellbound in 2016, that's when I really started focusing heavily on the music as related to it being a theme and a background character. And with Spellbound, the whole book is basically based on Susie and the Banshees song Spellbound, and the song Spellbound is about Matilda's journey of looking to follow off that road of following in your footsteps in that ragdoll dance, completely entranced in being spellbound, breaking that spell and becoming her own person as she finds her own voice. And as she finds her own voice, the music helps her express herself and helps her to become the Black Widow, and it helps her to grow and find her voice and become her own person in a conformist black community where people feel like they're forced to fit into these stereotypes as they're following in the footsteps of this ragdoll dance entranced. And that's where I got the ideas from the music, because the music was a core, and again, the song Spellbound was part of that whole process. And as I continued on in learning about how to make music into a character, I incorporated it in scenes like there's a Love and Rocket song, So Alive, that I knew from back in '89, and I incorporated that in a scene regarding the symbolism of Matilda's transformation into living and being alive. And I learned how to again incorporate music and make it into a background character and further enhance the story and make the story come alive. Now, a lot of people don't notice those background things as related to things like music being a character, but I wanted to incorporate it because, again, like a movie in my mind, I see it sort of like a movie, and I wanted that to be in the background so that you could see how the music was changing Matilda and as she was discovering herself. I mean, in all throughout the book, I put all different sorts of music. I have Sybil's "Don't Make Me Over" in a early scene, and that's a scene that symbolizes her wanting to be herself. I always try to make the music a background character, and with goth music, I want it to be that background character so that people can find the songs and find the music and see how it has an influence on people's lives. And that was something that I took from Spellbound and took it to Legendary Mad Matilda, the book that I wrote in 2017. Now, in 2017, I'd gotten a better understanding of how to fit the music into the background as a character and have it be in the background of the scenes. And that's what I put in Legendary Mad Matilda, which the theme of the entire book was based on the London After Midnight song, Where Good Girls Go to Die. Now, Sean Brennan, when he wrote that song, was talking about strippers, but I wanted to talk about women entering corporate America as the good girl goes to die, and her dreams sometimes go to die as she enters corporate America, and that was the theme of the book. But as I was writing the book, I got a better understanding of incorporating goth music as a character. I mean, there's a great scene in the beginning of Legendary Mad Matilda that's set to The Cure's love song, and there are other scenes in Legendary Mad Matilda which are set to different songs in the goth scene and different bands. And I again incorporate all of that music because I want people to understand what the music is and how the music makes people feel, because it's how that music makes people feel that inspires them to dress the way they do and to go out here and make great art. That's what I try to do in many of the Spinsterella books, and as I've been writing those books since 2015, I started with Spinsterella, then I came with Matilda's Baby Bat years in Spellbound, then her raver period in Legendary Mad Matilda, and then I decided to write a fourth book, which was Spinsterella Goth Girl Summer. Now, Goth Girl Summer is a book where Matilda is in the new millennium, in the year 2000, and as she's in the year 2000, I'm showing how the goth scene is changing, and I'm still trying to incorporate the music as a background character and showing how the music is a character in the story, where the goth scene is changing. It's changing overall, but the foundations still are there as related to the music, and I don't want the music to be lost. I don't want the music to be lost because the music is the foundation for everything, and the music is what it tells the story as related to things. This is what really a good writer understands, is that understands that, again, the music is core to the story, it's core to everything. And like a movie with a soundtrack, you have to really think about how the music fits into every scene, how the music fits into every chapter and every scene of the story, and how it makes it flow. That's what I would be sitting there thinking about, because I don't want to be one of those guys who goes out here and gives you an incomplete picture of what the goth subculture is, because the foundation for the goth subculture is the music, and there's lots of great music out there. There's lots of great bands out there, and I want people to find that great music, and that's why I would mention it in different chapters, because I'm hoping that people, when they read the stories, will go out here and try to find this music and find out what these songs mean, because these songs do mean something to people, and that's one of the things I try to do is as I'm listening to the music when I'm doing my research for Spinsterella stories is I'm trying to make sure to understand, okay, this song has a meaning behind it, like with Spellbound, the song is about children growing up and not understanding the world that they're in and just following blindly into something. Or like Where Good Girls Go to Die, the song is about women losing their innocence. I mean, songs are an art form and they tell a story. They tell a story that's way behind what's between the lines of the lyrics, and you have to dig deep in between those lines to get a sense of what that music is. And that's something I try to do whenever I'm putting fingers to the keyboard for a Spinsterella story. I'm not only just writing a story and making sure that we've got a main character, something that they want, and why should we care, but as I'm writing the story and developing the characters, I'm also going out here and developing a background character in the music and the music of the time, and showing how Matilda's character and how this music affects her and also affects other supporting characters. Because like in Spinsterella Goth Girl Summer, which I have the most diverse goth cast ever for a Spinsterella book, I have a white Jewish goth, I have a Hispanic goth, I have a white goth, and again an entire diverse cast. And again, I show how the music affects people and how the music is a part of the story. It's a major part of writing goth fiction, as I've seen, is that you have to go out here and again really make that music connect and really make it that background character, that really is a part of telling that story and bringing that story to life. That's one of the challenges I face when I write Spinsterella books than any other book that I do. Now, when I'm doing books like Isis or John Haynes, yes, I do have goth characters, and even with books like Eternal Night, which is a vampire story, even that book I had to incorporate, again, a lot of goth music as the character, but I want people to understand that that foundation of the subculture is the music, and the music is the core to everything, and I don't want people to lose that whole sight, because a lot of people, when they think about things related to goth, they never think about the music as related to the entire part of the subculture. But I want people to know in my stories, I know that it's a foundation, and since it's a foundation, it's something that I put in the background as you're looking at the story in the foreground, and it's setting the mood and the tone for the story, sort of like a soundtrack for the book. And if I ever were able to do a serious audiobook or seriously do a Spinsterella movie or a Spinsterella TV series, I would want to go out here and make sure that the music is incorporated so that people can see that the foundations of the subculture are essentially all about the music. Now, if you want to pick up many of the Spinsterella series books on Amazon.com, you can find all 4 of them there in paperback and Kindle format. You can start out by picking up Matilda's story of her baby bat years in Spellbound, her period as a rivethead or a raver in legendary Mad Matilda, or you can pick up her days as a goth model in Spinsterella Goth Girl Summer, or you can see her as an elder in Spinsterella. And you can also find those books at other online booksellers like Barnes & Noble, Draft to Digital, Google Play, and other online bookstores like Books A Million in paperback and digital format. And you can also check out the other books on the SJS Direct imprint on Amazon.com, such as the Isis series, the Steam series, and the John Haynes series, and my vampire novel, Eternal Night. And if you want to see me make more videos about the goth subculture and goth music, you can drop a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the link in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Spinsterella. Discover the dark side of love in this goth and lovely romance with Spinsterella. Get Spinsterella in paperback and e-readers at your favorite online bookseller today. Now available in paperback and Kindle, Vampires Stalk the Darkness of the Eternal Night. Get your copy of Eternal Night in paperback and Kindle on Amazon.com. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.